I think this is Wyoming. Welcome back to Minecraft. The other day, as I was analyzing my Bronze Age clay tablet, an idea popped into my head. What if I was a shoddy copper salesman? Hello. My name is 𝓖𝑋🐵📰. I'm a humble copper trader living in the village of 𝓎𝑢𝑟, located right in the middle of Wyoming. As you can see from my backed up stock, nobody wants to buy my garbage. And that
Hey bro,
is what—
we're kicking you out the village.
What?
Bro, you sell 1 copper for 30 freaking spankies?
You can't just kick me out of the village. Well, I guess they can kick me out of the village. Armed with only a poorly crafted copper sword, some bread, and some water, I was sent out into the unforgiving desert. Shortly after beginning my journey, I spotted something in the near distance. A tall, pyramid-like construct with an entrance. Now, I had heard many legends of pyramids containing great treasures, so of course, I did the only logical thing and went inside. The entrance appeared to be blocked with rubble, but thankfully I could mine it out. After fighting through a couple of husks, I was able to begin exploring the tunnels of the pyramid.
Man, shut your...
I found this room. Behind iron bars was something. There was light, and I was interested in finding out what lay here. So I went in. Why, of course, a lava trap. Unfortunately, it was far too slow to catch an experienced explorer like me. The room itself actually had very little of value though. No treasures here. So I decided to explore the rest of the pyramid. Wait, there actually is something here. Indeed, there was what appeared to be a burial site, complete with multiple chests which I was absolutely certain would explode. So I quickly performed an ancient technique of Romanian origin and stole literally everything inside the pharaoh's tomb, including his corpse. Unfortunately, I was now afflicted with the curse of the pharaoh, and soon husks began to swarm the pyramid halls. We might need to find another way out. Why, of course, I'll simply crawl through the wiring in the pyramid's walls. This is also how I get copper in real life. After finding some kind of piston mechanism, I started digging around, and accidentally just dug right through the wall and into the outside world. I then hid underground until the sun rose again. And so began the second day of my exile. The second day started with me purifying some water. I was already thirsty and the heat was starting to pick up. Once the sun had fully risen, I knew it was time to begin walking. I took a quick stop in a cave where I grabbed some coal and some copper. Then I continued walking until I reached this cool little cavern. Here, I was protected from the daylight heat. After crafting some doors, I went and did some underwater mining, which actually left me wanting to make a cave diving mod pack. You know what to do if you want to see that. As night fell, I blocked myself off in the cave. And while I didn't have enough wool to make a bed right now, I would soon get around this problem. Underwater, I had spotted a piece of mossy cobblestone, which of course means a dungeon. This particular dungeon was filled with spiders and creepers. And when I say filled with spiders, I mean, holy fuck, how many spiders are in this cave? The answer to that question is, of course, about 1 Australian backyard's worth of spiders. After clearing out the spiders, I had enough string to make wool, which I then used to make a bed. The next day, I woke up, packed my things, then prepared some delicious still water to drink during my journey. Having explored the nearest structures, and seeing that I was still stuck in a desert, I decided to do the only thing a man could in this situation. I began to walk. After about 6 kilometers and multiple days of walking, I found another pyramid. This one didn't have an entrance, but something told me it wasn't as featureless as it seemed. Well, shit. Oh yeah, I'm going in there. A wise man once said, "Death will not stop me, only slow me down." This is true because I respawned. And upon respawning, I immediately set my eyes on the Mega Pyramid. Before going there though, I had to gear up. So of course I started stealing. After sleeping in this guy's house, I made myself some equipment and went into an underwater bunker to craft some water bottles. As I exited, the sun was setting, which means time for a home invasion. Upon waking up, I realized something. This isn't my spawn village. Where the hell am I? Anyways, it's time to go tomb raiding. Curse of the Pharaoh. Due to the Pharaoh's curse, it was practically impossible to mine blocks around me. So, I had to descend the old-fashioned way. Bug. Inside the pyramid, I heard all sorts of strange ambient noises, but it was not enough to stop me. The further I descended, the more husks would spawn in. And after burglaring a block placement, I had to make a leap of faith and pray the baby husks didn't maul me to death. This situation is what we in the business call all sorts of fucked up. So anyways, I started killing. With that taken care of, I hopped down into the main room, and I began lining it up. What I saw around me were all sorts of puzzles, which I unfortunately couldn't cheese because I can't mine. The first puzzle consisted of 4 swords in item frames. Initially, it didn't make sense. But then I noticed a sign. The sign seemed to show numbers with arrows between them. And checking the swords, they were actually named as numbers. This made it obvious. I had to point the swords towards each other in the correct order to complete this trial. That caused something to happen. So let's move on to the next puzzle. For this one, I had to go into town to buy arrows. Then I went back. This is an archery test. I had to stand on a pressure plate while blocks moved up and down, trying to block me from hitting these targets. And once I hit all 3... And now for the last puzzle. This puzzle consisted of 2 lecterns with books, each one marked with boxes and circles on the first page. At first, I had no idea what this meant. Maybe something to do with an item's location around the temple? But looking around, there was nothing. Then, I had an idea. In Minecraft, the comparator block can read a lectern, and outputs a different level of energy depending on what page the book is on. With this, you could create a combination lock by putting 2 lecterns with books on them, each one requiring a different page to activate something that then leads to the lock. With that in mind, I returned to the books and counted the circles. Then, I set each book to the page equivalent to the number of circles. And just like that, were in the king's tomb. Down here, I was extra wary to make sure I didn't step in any traps. I knew I was getting closer to the king's treasure, and I sure as hell wasn't gonna lose now. As some of the rooms started giving me armor and weapons, I knew that at some point there would be a fight coming up. As I explored the abandoned halls, I had to squeeze through cracks in the sandstone walls just to get further into the tomb, conquering trial after trial after trial. And eventually, I met the pharaoh's guards. With his guards defeated and the curse lifted, the pharaoh's treasure was now mine.